Most magicians don't lose power, they lose structure. What you're about to watch is a lesson from Module 4 of my Goetia course. I'm releasing it publicly because the energy in this lesson is relevant right now, whether you're enrolled or not. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but listen closely. You're not reckless. You're not chaotic. You think long term. You think in systems. That's why inconsistency bothers you. There's a tension right now. Safety versus expansion. Comfort versus command. You know what you're capable of, but you drift when structure disappears. You started strong. You were consistent. Then life got dense. You adapted. Now you're rebuilding. And rebuilding requires structure, swiftness. When you know the next move, you take it. You don't negotiate with hesitation. Module 4 is about installing command into your system so it moves, whether you micromanage it or not. Enrollment is open. When you're ready to build with structure instead of excitement and intensity, you know where to go. If you've been circling this work, you already know. There was a moment when this all felt so real. There was a moment when you felt a surge. You felt power. You felt alignment. You saw it. You felt it. You experienced it. You lived it. It was real. Then it got quiet. And maybe you drifted. Maybe life got in the way. The momentum kind of fizzled down, right? And it didn't take long before you started to wonder, did I lose it? Did it leave me? Is it gone? Did I fail? Did I mess something up? Was I only borrowing? Well, let me tell you something. You didn't lose power. You reached the edge of effort, right? Effort has taken you as far as it can. But let's get one thing straight. You didn't lose anything. You didn't fall out of the current. One thing you got to understand is that life, especially when you're dealing with spiritual stuff, happens with ebbs and flows. It's like the tide. It comes in and it goes out. It breathes. It breathes. What it does not do is stay in one place, right? So understand, what you've been dealing with, what you've been manifesting and working with is very real. It's more real than you realize. And you didn't lose anything. You didn't fall. You didn't fail. None of that. You simply got as far as effort can take you. Give me a moment to explain to you what I mean by that. Modules 1, 2, and 3, we can see those as the ignition. We can see those as the flame that lit you on fire, showed you what was possible, gave you opportunities to test it and see it. And that ignition, that flame, right, got you started, and you did it. Now understand this. Ignition is not the same thing as infrastructure. What's the difference? Most practitioners ask around. They chase the rush. They chase the sensation. They chase the feeling. They chase these experiences. That's what you're going to find out here in these magical streets. People chasing the rush. You know that. You've been that person. I've been that person. But see, the thing is, when novelty fades and that rush starts to die down, those of us who are genuine and sincere about this, we start to assume that power is fading, right? We start to assume that either there's something with us or something with the magic, but things are starting to fade. But as I've said already, the power doesn't disappear. What happens is that excitement, that rush, that chase, that very human ego thing began to run out. The chase, the excitement began to wear off. So what you need now is structure. Structure. And doesn't that make clean common sense? When the excitement wears off, what keeps you going? The structure keeps you going. Your inner structure is what determines success. Pause. If you don't take anything else away from this module, from this course, understand that your inner structure is what determines your success. See, the magic isn't failing you. It hasn't left you. Your internal architecture is either supporting the current or it's leaking the current. As I said before, those who come into this game chasing the thrill and chasing the feeling and chasing the sensual egoic stuff, naturally that inner structure of theirs is going to leak the current. It's going to leak the momentum, basically. And once all that momentum leaks out, they move on to the next exciting thing. Or they assume that whatever they were doing doesn't work anymore, and they jump to the next thing that excites them. But just like anything else in this life, and you have to look at it this way, magic, evocation, working with spirits, all the fancy things that we do is no different from anything else. It's no different from a career in teaching or cooking or being in the military or anything. It's the same thing. You're excited about it, and that excitement leads you to get into it. And once you get into it, you see that, oh, this is going to take some effort. This is going to take some work, right? And effort and work can take you so far. But when you know that there's a game plan, when you know that there are steps and there's a way to do things that doesn't involve your emotions and doesn't involve you needing to be motivated, right? You don't have to be motivated to go to work, do you? You get up and you go to work because you know that this is how you're going to pay your bills and get your food and do everything else that you need to do. You don't need motivation for that. You're going to go to work even when you don't feel like it. There's a structure in place. And see, this is what has to happen if one wants to expand and ascend in this spiritual work. You need a structure that's going to carry you through even when you don't have motivation, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it seems like the magic left you. So sit up and listen. Module 4 is about working with the Legions. And you've never heard about the Legions. You may have seen that word in the grimoires. This spirit commands 144 legions. This spirit commands 30 legions. You may have read things like that. But there isn't a single text that can accurately describe what that's talking about. Mainly because that's simply numerology, but I digress. Everyone hears about these spirits that command a certain number of legions, and most people assume that we're talking about these armies of faceless entities, right? Waiting for orders, these hordes of spirits, right? Standing at attention, waiting for Baal or Astaroth or Bune to give them orders on your behalf, right? That's what you're thinking about when you think legions, right? That's too easy, though. That's too easy. Because what's the point? Yeah, that's too easy, and that's not what that's talking about. You see, you don't zoom in to find these legions. You don't zoom into Bune and then find Bune's legions. Again, that's too easy. See, the truth is that no one's going to tell you. You actually zoom out. You zoom out. And what's going to happen is you begin to discover larger organizing forces. Larger organizing forces that begin to build a framework and a structure and a container for these entities. You're going to find systems of meaning. You're going to find patterns that shape perception. You're going to find patterns of behavior. You're going to find, most importantly, patterns of outcomes. Patterns of outcomes. Structures. So when I was preparing for this module, I went into a deep trance and I began to channel. I invoked the spirit of this module. And I asked the spirit of this module, what does it want to communicate to you through me? What does this module want me to say? I'll give you exactly this transcript that I wrote. This is what Module 4 said to me. That it wants you to understand right now. There is more to magic. You've only scratched the surface. When you learn to drop your masks and see beneath the surface, you'll find truths more beautiful and more terrifying than you previously believed. And in that awe, you'll know for certain if you have what it takes to go further or to stop where you are. That's the message that I got. When you drop the mask, you'll find truths that are more beautiful and more terrifying than what you previously chose to see. And when you see that, you're going to know in that moment of beauty and terror, you're going to know immediately if you have what it takes to keep going or to just stop and say, you know what, I had enough. This is good right here. And hey, your answer is your answer, but you're going to see it. You're going to see it and you're going to be faced with that decision. And I want to tell you that now. But understand that first line. There is more to magic than you've seen. There's far more to magic than what you currently understand. So if you've come to the point where you say, oh, I get it. Oh, I figured it out. I know what this is all about. You are the wrongest person in your circle. Because even I can't say that. And I don't do anything but this. So look, I know you. I pay attention to patterns. And most importantly, I've been through this and I'm still going through this. And I know what's going on. You've got results before. You did the rituals, you tested things out, you got results. I know my system works. I have no insecurity or qualms about that. I know my system works. And speaking to you all, you've tested this stuff, you've tried it, you've done it, you've got results. Your fear decreased, right? So many of you have told me that you used to be afraid of this, that you used to have these, restrictions and hang-ups, and you wanted to be cautious. You just wanted to make sure you're doing the right thing, because no matter how illogical it sounds, there's this fear that you might mess something up and these demons might get you, or, that there's some kind of fear that was there. And a lot of you have told me that has decreased. And give yourself a pat on the back, because that's wonderful. You're breaking your own chains. You're breaking your own enslavement. That's powerful. Even if you don't get nothing else from this class, that right there is valuable. Things worked for you. But check this out. Here's what I also know about you. Patterns returned, right? Old routines crept back in. You haven't been meditating as much as you were. You haven't been doing the rituals. You probably haven't touched a sigil in a little while now, right? There's probably some things that you haven't been keeping up with. I get it. That happens to me too. But I understand. A lot of you are there now, and I can see it. Right? You probably don't check the chat as often as you used to, you know, the momentum kind of went down. I get it. It's human, and these cycles happen. And here's what else I know about you. You want something that can finally make all this stuff stick. Right? You know that it works. You know what you're capable of, but you're hoping that this module is going to give you something that makes it all stick. You want lasting change. You don't want to go through the temporary highs that you're chasing over and over. You don't want to jump from this thing to the next thing just trying to get that high. You want something that sticks. So check this out. Goetic work. It's not about sending monsters to go solve your problems. It's not about sending off spirits to go fetch you pleasures. And you know that by now. What it is about rebuilding inner architecture. And see, that's the transformation of this course. I know the mindset. And that's what I've been bringing you through. That's what you've been going through on your own. A lot of us came into this particular science because we wanted to throw these spirits at our problems and hope that the spirits fix our problems so that we can be happier and more comfortable and feel powerful and feel capable. And you should feel capable because you are capable, but not because you sent demons to go do it for you. That's how it started. And what ended up happening is that you realize that you're rebuilding your inner architecture. Right? You didn't throw a demon at your fear. You had to reframe your fear in order to work with the demons in the first place. This is all about rebuilding your inner architecture. And frankly, that's all that Magick is about. That's how you become a powerful magus, is by reframing your inner architecture. It's almost like say you built a house out of wood and straw, right? 3 little pigs. But then you discovered that this awesome material called brick exists. And then you kept researching and you discovered, whoa, there's metal out there. Metal and steel and iron, right? And what happens is you look at your wood and straw house and naturally your brain starts tinkering and thinking, what would it be like if I lived in a brick house? No, what would it be like if I lived in a metal house, right? Made of steel and iron. What would it be like if I had this structure? There would be so many problems that wouldn't be problems anymore. Living in a steel, metal, concrete building, you don't have to worry about storms and bad weather. It would be a non-issue. So naturally, when you see new options, when you see better choices and different things, different options, dabbling with cosmic forces, dabbling with spirits, you start to see that there's different ways to do things. And many of these ways are better than what you've been raised to do. So naturally, your mind starts redesigning itself. So you see, this isn't something that deals with effort. This is a natural evolving process. Simply working with these spirits has changed you already. Not to mention the results that you've seen. Just being in the awareness of this stuff, being in the perceptual field of this work changes how you even think and go about your day. So I had to ask myself, man, it's been 9 years. It's been 9 years since I committed to working with Goetic Magick. Don't even feel like it. But, you know, if I had to ask, you know, what would I tell myself back then? If I could just transport myself back 9 years ago and see myself with my little button-up shirt and tie sitting in front of my table, in front of my couch with my pillows behind me and my candles and incense lit, and my little cheap-ass camera recording on an SD card so I can post it on YouTube to the 5 people watching my channel. One of them is in this course. Peace to you, my brother. MW. You know, if I could go back to that version of me, living in that apartment that I could barely afford, working at that job that I hated, buying all these books and downloading all these PDFs, listening to Brother Panic religiously, trying to figure it all out. Because man, did I want a better life. Man, did I wanted to have money to actually enjoy for once, to live in a place where I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of, to be able to spend my time doing what I wanted to do. Basically where I am now. If I could go back then, when I started working with the Goetic Magick, to live the life that I'm living today, what would I tell myself? I tell myself 3 things specifically. And I thought about this, and I wouldn't tell myself about the stuff that I know about NLP or the simulation that we live in or none of that other stuff. If it was just the Goetia stuff, I would say 3 things, right? Number 1, I'd say trust the process. Like, look, man, I know that you want to rush ahead, and I know you want to make sure you're doing the right thing and not be afraid of failing or getting left behind or any of that stuff. Don't worry about any of that. Trust the process and let this thing unfold. Let yourself unfold. There is no rush. You don't have to finish working with Goetia in 6 months. This is going to be something you're going to be doing for 10 years or more, right? Like I said, 9 years in, I'm still doing it. Trust the process. Let it all unfold. You're going to be just fine. Just do the work. That's the first thing I'd say to myself, right? Don't rush. Trust the process. Now check this out. The second thing I would say is don't get stuck on one spirit. Don't get stuck on one spirit. Yes, you're going to work with King Payment and he's going to show you amazing things. You're going to work with Bune and she might not give you what you're looking for immediately, but she will eventually. You're going to work with Marcosius and you're going to feel safer than you've ever felt in your life. You're going to work with Amdusius and the unicorn will never, ever leave your side. You're going to work with Dantalion and he's going to show you the inside of the human psyche like you would have never dreamed, right? You're going to work with Asmodeus, and he's going to teach you about astral projection and sex magic. You're going to work with all these entities. Don't get stuck on one. You're going to find one that's going to give you results, and you're going to be tempted to just stay there. But don't do that. Work with one, take the lessons, and move to the next one. Explore. And see, the third thing I tell myself is, in your exploration, don't spread yourself too thin. Like I said, this isn't a rush. This isn't a race. Work with all of them. Work with as many of these spirits as you can. Don't get stuck on one, and don't spread yourself thin trying to work on 12. Make it a point to spend time working with each of these different entities, because each one is going to teach you something different. They're going to teach you something different about yourself. And they're going to teach you something different about the world at large. Even if the spirit doesn't seem relevant or seem interesting, work with them for a week. It might not seem interesting because you don't know jack shit about it. Maybe if you spent a week working with it or 2 weeks, you'll learn something. Work with all of them. Those are the 3 things I tell myself. Trust the process. Don't get stuck on one spirit. Work with as many of them as you possibly can. Because here's the thing, you're learning lessons. You're not just learning outcomes. It's not just about, I summoned this spirit, get that. Summon this spirit, get that. Not outcomes. These are lessons. And each experience is going to teach you about a new facet of the world and therefore of yourself. It's like TV, right? If you remember watching TV, you got so many channels, right? You got so many channels. I remember the Disney Channel and the Fox Channel and MTV and VH1. There's so many different channels. But see, it would almost be like you only watch 3 channels all your life. Let's say you only watch 3 channels all your life. That's going to give you a specific worldview because each of those channels has a specific philosophy. Fox News and Fox is going to be Fox. Cartoon Network is going to be Cartoon Network. MTV is going to be MTV. Right? If those are the 3 channels that you watch, your world's going to be stuck in those 3 channels. But see, if you change the channel and spend time watching each of the channels, right? The different channels are going to reveal the wider landscape. You're going to see the wider landscape. And it's only then that you can truly understand what TV is all about. You don't understand what TV is all about by staying on 1, 2, 3 channels. You learn by seeing the bigger picture and seeing how it all fits together and how they all relate to each other. Each one's going to teach you something. Even the ones that you don't like, they're at least going to show you, okay, there are channels that exist that I don't like. And I have a good experiential reason as to why I don't like it, as opposed to just assuming I don't like it because I guess I don't or someone else said I wouldn't. I know why I don't like it. And even that is knowledge about yourself and the world. So all that to say, yes, work with as many of these spirits as you can so you can get a glimpse of the bigger picture. So finally, let's talk about these legions. The legions are not tiny soldiers waiting for your command or waiting for the command of the Goetic spirit that you're working with. These legions are actually organized forces. Organized forces. Don't think of them as individual little soldiers. Think of them as organized forces. And this is something that I stumbled upon accidentally. And it's only now, I stumbled on accidentally 9 years ago, but it's only now that I have the words to dictate and translate what it is that I've been working with all this time. These are organized forces. These are structures inside of you. And once you install them properly, they run quietly. They run on autopilot. Does that sound interesting? Does that sound like something that you would love to understand and put into place? So remember what I said in the beginning, right? A lot of us are chasing power and chasing the thrill. Power fueled by excitement, it only exhausts you. It only drains you. It runs out. It's temporary. It's finite. That's why you felt like, oh, did the magic leave me? Do you know how many times I had to sit with that? How many times through the years I felt like the magic left me? That I've been abandoned. I'm a regular NPC again. Oh no, the magic's gone. Man, that has hit me so many times. Hell, in the past 5 years alone, right? Since you've been watching my channel, there have been multiple times where I felt like, oh, the magic left me. I'm stripped. I'm bare. Nah, man. That's why I said it's ebbing and flowing like a tide going in and coming out. I'm not just saying that because it's a pretty metaphor. I'm telling you that because I know that by absolute fact. And to be able to continue growing, you need to know, you need to have a system in place that's going to keep you moving forward even when it feels like you can't see. And that system's not going to work if your spiritual practice depends on you being excited, if it depends on you chasing a thrill. Power built on structure is what sustains you. That's what we're going to be dealing with in this module. So module 4 is where we stop pushing. It's where we stop exerting effort. Everything we did up to now was to motivate you and excite you and show you what's real and show you what's possible. And now that you've had some time to experience that and feel the fall off, because that's also part of the lesson, now we deal with how to sustain yourself through that. So there's no more pushing. This is where we start building. And get this, you're not starting over. You're not starting over. You're installing infrastructure. All of this plays out exactly as it's supposed to. So once again, your inner structure is what determines your success. If you don't learn nothing else from this module, your inner structure determines your success. You didn't lose power. You simply reached the edge of effort. You've gone as far as effort can take you. Effort alone, excitement alone. Right? And as I said, these first 3 modules were here to ignite you, to set you on fire. But ignition is not infrastructure. This is what we're about to get into with this module. So when we talk about power and results, see, power that's powered by a system becomes self-sustaining. Okay, you catch the drift now? You catch what I'm saying? Power that's powered by a system, it becomes self-sustaining. So it's not going to be powered by excitement, not going to be powered by motivation, not going to be powered by, oh, I saw a cute synchronicity today, or I feel witchy, I feel magical. No. It's not powered by that. It's power when we set up this system and let the system run itself, it becomes self-sustaining. That's what the Legions are all about. That's what Legions are all about. So I hope that you are awake, that you're ready, that you haven't given up, that you believe in yourself, because it's time to move forward. See you in the next video. If this resonated with you, then you already understand what this is about. This isn't about hype. It's not about intensity. It's about installing structure so your work moves, whether you feel inspired or not. Enrollment for the full Goetia course is open. If you're ready to build with command instead of chaos, the link is below. You don't need more information. You don't need another video. You don't need another book. You need a decision. If you've been circling around this work, you already know that.